Hey guys, welcome back to the Ground channel. So I know you guys are probably wondering why am I making another MCU movies ranking video. Well, as you guys know, Avengers Endgame recently got released like a month ago or something. And I decided, you know what, let's make another ranking video. I know you're thinking maybe I should have waited until Far From Home got released, since I am gonna be seeing that and reviewing it. And I don't know, I really wanted to make this running out of ideas. Just to say, I know you're wondering why is it called 12 and when it was originally 9? Well, I have seen 3 MCU movies now, that is including Avengers Endgame, and 2 others that I recently saw before seeing Endgame. So that's going to be on the list. You'll see what it is when I say what it is. So without further ado, let's go on to the list. So let's go on to my least favorite MCU movie. That's up to number 12. Coming up to my least favorite MCU movie is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Still, so what I know you guys are probably wondering, yeah, why do you hate this movie? Well, I don't actually hate it. Like, this film has been loved by by audiences and critics, and you're probably wondering why is this at my least spot? Well, I'm not saying I hate it. It's fun, and Captain America is kind of a badass in this movie, and the action scenes are pretty good. But either way, I haven't seen this movie. I've only seen this movie once, and it's been a long time since I watched this movie. I didn't have a great time with the movie. It wasn't too interesting to my opinion, so I guess that's why it's at my least spot. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about the Winter Soldier. Anyways, let's move on to number 11. Coming up to number 11 is Iron Man 2. So, this is another MCU movie that I haven't seen in a very long time. I remember a bit of it. It had some pretty okay action scenes, and that's really all that I liked about it, I guess. The villain was really strange. I'll say that. The villain, Whiplash, he was kind of a strange villain. Strange actor. The actor of him was kind of a strange choice, to my opinion. But it's kind of also a very forgettable movie. Like, I used to always play the game of Iron Man 2, but I never really cared to. I don't think I never really gave two shits about the movie, so that's kind of sad. Anyways, let's move on to number 10. Coming up to number 10 is Avengers Age of Ultron. Guys, this is another MCU film that I've only watched once, and my problems with the film, Ultron was a very forgettable villain. Like, all he did was the film. I don't really remember what he does in the film. Does bad stuff. He's a robot that Bruce Banner and Tony accidentally create, and he does a bunch of bad stuff. That's kind of an interesting story, and kind of a different story for like other MCU films. But Ultron was also very forgettable. I don't really remember what he does except say jokes or something that were actually kind of funny. I guess, not really. But yeah, this film was also kind of forgettable, and it wasn't really the best, and it wasn't that great. But yeah, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't the best. So yeah, let's move on to number 9. Coming up to number 9 is Captain America: The First Avenger. Guys, I watched this film just before seeing Avengers Endgame, so this is one of those. And this film was actually kind of cool. It introduced the Captain America character, pretty good, pretty well. And it was a very different MCU film. Like all the other MCU films I thought were just jokey and just fun. This film, like, it's like one of the older MCU films that just did not show that much. This film was kind of cool. But the thing is that this film had some trouble keeping me entertained. Like, there was this one scene where skinny Steve Rogers was training with the soldiers. That kept me pretty entertained. But everything else was having a trouble trying to keep me, like, entertained with the film. But I guess it was still it was fine. I don't hate it. It was fine. It was pretty cool. But anyways, let's move on to number 8. Coming up to number 8 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Guys, this is another MCU film that I watched just before seeing Avengers Endgame, just for the heck of it. It's a fun movie. It came out back in 2014, so it took me a long time to watch it, but it was fun. It was funny sometimes. The comedy, I've heard better, but it was still kind of funny at some points. My issues with the film is probably Star-Lord. I honestly don't really like him as a character that much. He's kind of an asshole most of the time, and I just don't really like him. My original favorite character of the Guardians of the Galaxy was Groot, but now I'm changing it to Rocket, because, I don't know, he's kind of funny sometimes. But yeah, I just don't really like Star-Lord as a character that much. Yeah. That's one of my issues with the film. I don't really have that much issues. But yeah, it's a cool movie. And yeah, let's move on to number 7. Coming up to number 7 is Iron Man 3. Guys, this film was kind of silly at some moments, especially with its plot twist about the Mandarin. Apparently, the plot twist of this film is that the Mandarin is not who we think it is, and we thought that this Mandarin is like that bald guy with the huge beard and stuff. We thought that was the Mandarin, but that guy was actually just some famous dude as the told to be the Mandarin, and yeah, he wasn't actually evil. It was just some famous dude. But yeah, they reveal who's the Mandarin at the end. Spoiler alert, but I won't really say who that is, because just for people who haven't seen Iron Man 3, just in case. But yeah, this film was cool. It had pretty cool action scenes at some moments, but I'm not. But the Tony Stark anxiety thing was kind of random, like kind of out of nowhere. But I guess that's fine, because he apparently had anxiety from the Avengers attack, from the Avengers battle, the New York battle, and Avengers. So I guess that makes sense. I don't know. It's silly at some moments, but it's also kind of cool, and yeah, I do think one day I might rewatch it just for the heck of it, because it's fun. It's pretty cool. Anyways, guys, let's move on to number 6. Coming up to number 6 is The Incredible Hulk. Guys, I know you're probably thinking, like, why isn't this lower? Like, not like lower, like, to like number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, like, up. Like, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I actually really enjoyed this movie. It's probably the best Hulk movie out of everything that we've seen out of Hulk. Well, no, that's not what I meant. Like, every Hulk movie that's been released, every standalone Hulk movie that we've seen, this was the one that I mainly enjoyed. The main thing I loved about the film is the Hulk fights. That was definitely my favorite part of the movie. The CGI was done really well with the Hulk and all and also the Abomination. That's really all I cared about, the big fights. But honestly, even the entire film kept me pretty entertained, and I enjoyed it. So yeah. Anyways, let's move on to number 5. Coming up to number 5 is The Avengers, the MCU movie, the first ever crossover MCU film that brought all the heroes together. Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, Hawkeye, Thor, Black Widow, all the heroes coming together in this film. And guys, this film was a lot of fun. I even saw it in theaters back around in 2012 when it first got released, and I even enjoyed it back then, and I still enjoyed it. It's a really fun MCU film that brought all the heroes together, and I can't even be bothered going into issues. This is a really awesome movie. But anyways, let's move on to number 4. Coming up to number 4 is Captain America: Civil War, the MCU film that introduced Spider-Man. Yep. That's all you have to hear there. I'm joking, guys. This film was awesome. At some moments, the film can be a little slow, can be a little boring, but it's still really. But either way, who cares? It's still an amazing movie. The action scenes were amazing, especially that airport battle. That is one of my favorite MCU battles. Actually, one of my favorite superhero battles of all time. It's amazing. It was done so well. God, I'm thinking about it right now. It's so badass. It also introduced Spider-Man, which he's my favorite. He's my favorite hero. I've loved him for like nearly my entire life, and I'm so happy with what they've done with him, especially with Homecoming and all that. I'm really excited what they do with him next with Far From Home and all that shit. But they did a really good job with this film, and I thought it was awesome. Anyways, let's move on to number 3. Coming up to number 3 is Avengers Infinity War, the big MCU film that was bringing all the MCU heroes together to fight Thanos, and everyone was so happy because they were able to pull it off. At some moments, like Civil War, the film was a little boring, but at the same time, with these boring scenes, they were also a little interesting. Unlike Civil War, these boring scenes were legit boring, but with Infinity War, these boring scenes at the same time were interesting, and they were good to listen. They were so interesting to hear. Like, when I first saw it, these boring scenes I never even paid attention to, and I'm kind of weirded out how I gave it such an amazing review afterwards. But now, like, I understand these really boring scenes a lot more, and this film is amazing, guys. They did such a good job, and everything about this film was just great. Anyway, let's move on to number 2. Coming up to number 2 is SpiderMan Homecoming. Guys, I love this movie. They did such a good job with the Spider-Man character. Like, they respect the other films, like the Raimi films, and God, the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But they also do something with the Spider-Man character that's a lot more different than the other films, which I really respect. They make a younger Peter Parker that I respected for the entire movie, and yeah, I really liked it. My issues with the film is the CGI on Spider-Man. It's dumb. They could have just easily put on a Spider-Man suit for some scenes for Spider-Man, but he's covered in CGI, and it looked really bad. But this film did an amazing job with Spider-Man and a lot of cool things. The action scenes were cool, but if the CGI was done a lot better, then it could have been a lot better. But yeah, this film was amazing. They did such a good job with the Spider-Man character. But it is my favorite Spider-Man movie. It is still my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. But it's not my favorite MCU film and superhero film of all time. Because coming up to number 1 is Avengers Endgame. Guys, this movie was an epic conclusion to all these 22 MCU films that we've been watching for years. It was an epic conclusion. It was so badass, and it made me cry so many times. Like, this is the reason why it took me so long to release this ranking video, because I tried so hard to think, like, is Avengers Endgame truly my favorite superhero movie of all time? At one point I said, no, it's not. It's SpiderMan Homecoming still my favorite. At some point I said, yes, it has to be. Sometimes I went back to Homecoming, but sometimes I went back to Endgame. And then I finally came to the final decision that Endgame is my favorite MCU film. And even my favorite superhero movie. And even my favorite movie. I know what you guys are thinking. My opinion's going a little too crazy, but it is, guys. I haven't seen every movie in the world because I'm only 13, so yeah. But yeah, this film was awesome. It was such an epic conclusion. It got a tear in my eye so many times, and it was so emotional, so powerful, and they did an amazing job. Alrighty guys, this is going to be the end of my MCU movies ranking video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know you're probably disappointed that I made another one of these. Will I make another MCU movies ranking if I see a lot more? Maybe, I might not, because I'm getting kind of sick of making these videos because I'm seeing a little too much MCU films that this list is going to keep going higher. And yeah, it didn't take me too long to make this video. It took me a bit, but not too long. But it was fun to make. Not really, though. But yeah, post the comments down below of what you guys thought. Make your own ranking of the MCU films you've seen. I've only seen 12, so this is just the ones I've seen so far. Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out in about a month or something. So I know you're thinking, why didn't I just wait until Far From Home got released? I'm running out of ideas, so I wanted to release this kind of quick. Yeah, you're disappointed. I know I made a really bad decision. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. And remember, it's just my opinion. This list, it's my opinion. All right, don't voice crack. Don't hate on it, please. You can hate on it. Okay, no, you can hate on it if you want to. But yeah, it's just my opinion. You can comment down below what your list of MCU movies you've watched so far, or you've watched. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next video. Bye. I really gotta stop beating you guys up. This is fucking bullying, or cyberbullying, actually. I don't know.